Will Eisner, A Spirited Life, an audiobook by Bob Andelman, produced in association with Tampa Digital Studios.
Hello, I'm Bob Andelman, the author of Will Eisner, A Spirited Life, and narrator of the audio edition to which you're listening. My intention is to fill you in on the man behind the infamous byline. I'm not here to critique his style or the lines he drew. As I wrote on the first page of the biography, I'll leave that to other people. I'm here to share intimate details of Will Eisner's life and the way he lived it. The greatest constant in Will Eisner's life had to be work. Sometimes he worked at the most unlikely times, like at his brother Pete's funeral. It was December 2003. For most of 30 years, Julian Pete Eisner was his older brother's office manager and gatekeeper. He was also Will's best friend. But Pete's health had taken a sudden wrong turn that fall, and one day in December, Pete was gone. I attended the funeral and paid my respects to the Eisner family afterward. Will said to me, as we were leaving the synagogue, "I'm glad you're here. We have some serious business to discuss." "We do? Today?" So I went back to Pete's house for the wake and expressed my condolences to his wife and children. I watched Will carefully work the room, wondering if I was in trouble for something. Finally, he came over to me in the living room and said, "Let's get out of here. We've got work to do at my studio." Will?" I said. "It's your brother's wake. Should we really leave?" "Why not?" I turned to his wife, Anne, not knowing what to do. "Go, take him. You'll do us all a favor," she said. So I did. We drove over to the studio in my little blue Miata. That's a picture I wish I could share with you. And I said, "Am I in trouble?" He laughed. "Nah, I just hate funerals. I had to get out of there. I thought I could do some work, and you probably had some more questions, right?" "Sure, but..." Unfortunately, funerals inform a substantial part of the Eisner legacy, starting with the death of his daughter Alice in 1969 from bone cancer at the tender age of 16. Few people even knew Will and Ann had children until he died in January. There were no family photos anywhere in their home or office. One late night, sitting at his kitchen table, already past his bedtime, Will started talking about his children. "I know you need to know," he said, opening up like never before. He appreciated that I had been patient on the subject. The next morning, when his wife Anne heard what happened, it was as if a great weight was lifted off both of them, and our relationship was forever cemented. In 2002, the first time Will and I got together to discuss a book, it was planned then as an autobiography, I had the foresight to drag my wife and daughter to lunch with me, something I never did with a potential collaborator before. As the grown-ups talked over lunch about how such a product might unfold, Rachel, then 5, turned over her placemat and filled it with short pencil lines raining down. "This is for you, Mr. Eisner," she said, handing it over. "I'm an artist, too." "What is it, Rachel?" Will asked politely. "It's a snowman," my brilliant daughter said, "in a snowstorm." Will laughed. It was all snow, no snowman to be seen, and he complimented her on the cleverness of it. "You come back to my studio after lunch and I'll draw something for you, too," he said. This was before I knew that he had long since stopped doing sketches. A few months later, I bought a fully articulated spirit action figure at Jay and Silent Bob's secret stash in Red Bank, New Jersey. Rachel, who hadn't yet read any spirit stories, couldn't wait to tear into the package and play with it. For some reason, she took one look at the spirit, found some string, and tied him up. I laughed out loud, knowing she had no idea how common it was for Denny Colt to find himself trussed up by pretty girls in just that way. I told Will about it in our next interview, and he asked her to draw the spirit for him. When I delivered it to him a few weeks later, it received a permanent place of honor on his studio's bulletin board. In the last year of his life, Will Eisner was as busy as ever, preparing for publication of The Plot, moving his graphic novel library to a new comics publisher, W. W. Norton, and secretly negotiating to let DC Comics revive his cherished character.